Hello and welcome to Commodity Champions. I'm Manisha Gupta. And band, baja, barat and billions of dollars. Well, India's extravagant wedding season arrives with a huge opportunity for jewelers. Most jewelers invest in coming up with new offerings that are in line with the wedding galore. A key part of festivities also includes India's love for gold, which is at an all-time highs above $25-80 an ounce currently. At least 75% of families own gold in some form or the other, among which 50% is bought by middle-income group. Traditionally, gold is seen as a safe haven investment. Along with gold, diamonds also are a favorite during weddings in India. And at that note, we head to our first guest, Ajoy Chawla. He's CEO of Jewelry at Titan, to discuss the sales prospects, buying trends, and the price impact on jewelry sector this wedding season. Ajoy, hi. Thank you so much for joining us at CNBC TV 18. And first things first, gold price is at an all-time high. Has that made any dent in buying ahead of wedding season and during the festivities?
Thank you, Manisha. It's a pleasure to be here on your screen. Excuse me. Yeah, gold has certainly, been on its upward trajectory. There is uncertainty around the Fed rate and the cutting and all that. But I think it's counterintuitive, Manisha. But, when gold rates remain at elevated levels, we see the interest in gold seems to be high. Perhaps, when it suddenly jumps up, then there is some kind of nervousness and customers wait to see whether it is a volatility or it is here to stay. But the moment it stabilizes and it remains at that levels, I think people come back in with a vengeance. So we have not seen any letdown as yet in terms of demand. And in fact, we are beginning to see in this quarter, some wedding purchases have begun already in anticipation for the very strong wedding season in Q3 and Q4.
Oh, well, absolutely. There are reports suggesting that there are lots of auspicious dates this time around for the wedding season. So you have too many weddings clubbed around that small period there. Also, Joy, there is two Indias as we talk about. One is price sensitive and the other is the premium and the luxury market. How are you looking at the balance between the two?
So we cater to the upper middle class, largely our brand, and we are seeing good traction in terms of buyer growths as well as ticket sizes in the quarter so far. Of course, right now we are just entering into the Shraddh season, but that will be done by the time we hit October 2nd. So far, we are seeing good traction both in the sub 100,000 price band as well as in the greater than 5 lakh price band. And quite interestingly, the gold as well as studded in the greater than 5 lakh price band continues to show very, very healthy growths.
Ajay, what would you say is the buyer base that Titan has right now and how are you looking to grow that? Also the current number of stores, and what's your sense on where would you be by the end of this year, by the end of a decade, let's say?
I don't have any figures to give, Manisha. We as a brand and as a business and as a division, have always been targeting aggressive double-digit growths. We are seeing volatility in this year, like we saw in the first quarter. Up to Akshaya Tritiya, everything was really rocking, and then maybe due to elections, maybe due to heat wave and absence of wedding dates, kind of things slowed down. Then again, now we have seen very good traction so far, and especially post-budget. Here, we must thank the Finance Ministry for actually having reduced the duties, and the amount of illegal imports into the country has come down. And I think that is also another force which is playing well. So we are seeing good growths. We will target healthy double-digit growths. In fact, right now, everything is looking very positive. As I said, right now, there is going to be a Shraddh period for the next 2 weeks, which wasn't there last year in September. It was more in October. But I think, therefore, it sets up both the festive month of October as well as Q3 exceptionally well. In fact, we have also seen very interesting response, a lot of demand for, you are asking about India, the premium India. Thanks to the Ambani wedding and all the other high-profile weddings, we are seeing a lot of demand for statement pieces as well.
Oh, well, absolutely. And that was my next question, really, Ajoy, because when it comes to luxury buying and when it comes to premium buying, it is also a lot about in-store experiences. And a couple of latest Zoya stores that I have been to do showcase that. What's your sense on, on whether it is also about customer loyalty, one, it also is about in-store experience, customer support. There are various things, and of course, design, new themes. So what is it that you're looking at during this festival season?
Absolutely, Manisha. I think you nailed it. It is ultimately about celebrating the customer and giving her a delightful experience. Whether she buys, does not buy, but every customer who walks out of any of our stores, whether it is Zoya or Tanishq or Mia or Carrot Lane, should go out with a smile. And our single largest thrust, in fact, I just stepped out of a franchisee cascade, a pre-festive cascade for the South region, and that was my single message to them. Don't worry about growths and targets, they will happen. Focus on the customer. In Zoya, for example, we go out of the way to create bespoke jewelry, we create curated experiences. In Tanishq, we reach out to all our what we call as the Purple Club customers at least 4 times a year at home visits and invite them over. And doesn't matter if they buy, don't buy, but we just invite them over and there is a warm relationship that we share. I think that's the most important thing. The product and design piece has to create excitement, no doubt about that. She's not going to buy only because of the warm experience. The relationship goes beyond the transaction. And I think that relationship is what we nurture.
Ajoy, since you mentioned all the brands like Tanishq and Zoya and Carrot Lane and Mia, I don't know if you're going to answer this or not, but is there a favorite child among all these?
You're asking me a very difficult question. I think all are mine, and we cannot play favorites. Sometimes the younger ones get a little more attention because they need to be nurtured, the smaller and younger ones. But having said that, during festive season, Tanishq does take up a lot more of my mind space, and Tanishq is what matters because it caters, to a very large audience. You talked about how many customers we serve, about 3.5 million and maybe 3.8 million customers this year alone. And on our website itself, we get about 4 million customers, active users every month. So that's the customer base we kind of cater to when it comes to Tanishq.
Since you have started talking about numbers, Ajoy, what is the sense this festival season? You've told us already that the third and the fourth quarter of this year and the first quarter of 2025 do look good. So is there any back of the envelope calculation on what kind of numbers we could be looking at in sense of growth? And also, what geographies really are you looking at right now? Because, earlier it was just about South and then, of course, West and North, but East is doing quite well as well. So how are you looking at that breakdown?
So amongst the regions, certainly South and East have had the best traction. North and West were particularly impacted by elections, and therefore they are still catching up. And within that, I think, the rains, etc., have also played some role. But I believe this season it is North and West which is going to really rock because there has been a certain on the fence sitting by customers. So my belief is they're going to rock. East continues to do well. You're right. We are seeing a strong, performance from the Eastern markets this year. And we are hoping that continues into the festive season, Pujo, etc., starting now. But in terms of numbers, as I said, while I can't share what will happen or what, we will target aggressive double-digit growths, which is always optimistic, positive. We play on the front foot. We have planned for such growths because we wanted to ensure that we don't miss out the main season. In fact, we have planned between 1,500 to 2,000 new designs just for the festive season and then the wedding season thereafter. And with a good spread between both diamond-studded jewelry as well as gold. So a lot of excitement coming in, and we have also planned very aggressive marketing campaigns, customer reach outs. So right now, as we speak, we are in the midst of doing our region-wise cascades and discussions with all our associates and, pumping up the excitement and sharing all our plans with them.
Well, I can see you all excited, Joy, and we will, of course, talk when we are into that middle of wedding season to understand on how the market really is at that point in time. But thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate your time. And with that, we're heading into a short break, but don't go anywhere. We discuss the jewelry buying trends with Suvankar Sen of Senco Gold and Nirav Bansali, CEO at Prism Jewelry, after this break. Welcome back, and we're talking everything that glitters, which is gold and diamond. Let's take this conversation forward with Mr. Nirav Bansali, CEO at Prism Jewelry. Nirav, hi, thank you for joining us. And it's all about new designs and festivities and wedding season, etc. But with the gold prices where they are, how would you look at the overall demand? And is a number that you're ready to share with us on what kind of sales are you anticipating?
Thank you, Manisha. It's always a pleasure to be on your show. And like you said, gold has really been rocking. It's at all-time high. But having said that, I think the demand just keeps increasing as the prices go up. We just need a little stability. But when the prices are stable, I think gold is really selling very well. And we just concluded the IIJS, the largest jewelry show in India, and our number estimates in that show was over 1 lakh crore worth of orders were placed at the show. So I think that is all in anticipation of the demand, which is coming up with the festive and then the wedding season.
Would you say that with the kind of good monsoon that we are having right now and the fact that urban is buying, semi-urban seems to be buying as well, we could be looking at a lot of support as we see the wedding season start?
Yes, definitely. The monsoon has been very good. The budget has been really blessing us, the industry, and the prices are so low now compared with with international rates. We are almost at par with them, so that makes it really a compelling reason to buy this gold and diamond jewelry in India. So we expect at GJEPC and the industry, we expect a very robust season this year on the back of the last year, and for the next few years, I think we are into a very good spell.
Also talk to us about diamonds then, and the industry has been talking about on how the prices have come off the kind of highs that we saw in the previous year. Now we have seen some stability for the month of August. How is September looking like right now, and have the export orders as well started coming in?
So after a very difficult spell for the diamond industry, the past year has been challenging, especially for the export markets. But like you mentioned, the prices have stabilized. Numbers are ticking up, and we are expecting the growth to catch up in the exports market. And coming to India, I think India has been really a shining spot for the diamond industry the past year. It's growing really well, and we expect a similar kind of sales growth in gold as well as in diamond in India this year and the next year too.
We look at numbers right now, Nirav, and is there anything that you can share in sense of numbers with us on what kind of demand are we anticipating?
So jewelry has become a $100 billion market. Diamonds contribute almost 8%, so 8 billion. A recent BCG report just came out, which has put the diamond industry in India by 2031 to be at a $17 billion. And gold is also expected to grow similarly. So I think this year definitely is a good year, but even the next few years, I think the demand for jewelry is going to be very robust. Indian women are really in fascination and love for jewelry, and that continues even with the newer generation.
All right. The newer generation, as you talk about that, it is going to be all about millennials and their buying trends, and the younger generation also earning and spending it on themselves. That is, the self-buying is something that we've seen actually pick up. While there is a luxury market and a premium market, would you say there's a jewelry affordable market as well, which seems to be now coming in?
Oh, definitely. It's a very, very big market. Everyday, daily wear, you call it, like the women who wants to spend their own money and buy jewelry. That is a very, very big market. In fact, with the modern retail coming in, that category is really ticked off, and most of these big chains are doing phenomenal business in that category. So both the markets, actually, luxury is also doing very well, with weddings being one of the topmost purchases for an Indian family. And similarly, the everyday jewelry is also catching up. So it is definitely a good space to be in. And also today, coincidentally, we have had the listing of PNG Jewelers, which has got a stellar return. On the listing day, the past few issues that were listed, Kalyan Jewellers, Senco, they have also been doing very well. So industry is definitely doing well in India, gold and diamond both.
Also, Nirav, would you say that enhanced product offerings, whether it's about designs, diamonds, really is the norm of the day right now?
Yes, definitely. There is a lot of emphasis on designs, and diamonds do really play a very, very important part in creating those fascinating designs.
Nirav, the data shows us that we've surpassed China as it was in the last year. How are you looking at the Indian growth numbers, one? And two, as of now, 10 to 11% of penetration is what India does. Do you see that growing, and by what number?
So we have overtaken China to be the second largest diamond consuming market in the world today. We stand at around 7% in Indian jewelry space, and in the world we are at 10%. And we expect to be at 30% by 2033, 34 sometime. So India is going to catch up really well, and maybe very close. It would have very similar share to US also in maybe in the next few years. So it's definitely doing extremely well. Diamond, it's like one of the best markets in the world currently is India for the diamond sector.
Nirav, going forward now, that's about the Indian market, of course. When you talk about exports, which haven't done so well in the last financial year, now with the holidays approaching, Christmas and New Year's, what countries are we looking at? Because China continues to be weak even now. US is kind of wobbly, especially with the US presidential election coming in. Middle East continues to be a stronger bet. How are you looking at all of these geographies?
So China is still a difficult space, but US is it's not that wobbly, I would say. The Las Vegas show was pretty decent. We are also right now in the midst of the Hong Kong show, which is also a very important show. And the initial trends are showing that exports are picking up. It should cover a lot of ground. It wouldn't be where, I wouldn't say that it's going to be where it was at the year and a half back. But definitely we are clawing back, and markets have seemed to stabilize, and diamonds are coming into favor.
Well, that clearly seems to be the scene, because the international markets are slightly picking up right now. And as far as diamonds go, well, they are coming back in favor. And there are all caratages of diamonds coming in here. I have one final question with you, Nirav, and that is about the caratages itself. What caratages are more volatile in sense of prices, and what caratages within diamonds do you think are doing better?
So the solitaires, when you say larger stones, 1 carat, 2 carat, 3 carat plus, these have been under some pressure in the past 1.5 years. They actually went up very, very fast, very high post-COVID. The demand suddenly picked up so much compared to supply that the prices moved up quite a bit. But now they have clawed back and fallen back, and they are at a reasonable level, I would say. But they are still under pressure, while the smaller goods, especially below 30 points, like 2-pointer, 5-pointer, 10-pointer, they are extremely solid, strong, very less supply. Demand is pretty robust. India is consuming a lot of that. US also consumes a lot. So the smaller size, I think, are really doing well, and larger ones need to catch up, but still they are under the pressure.
All right, we get that. Let's also go across to Mr. Suvankar Sen from Senco now. Mr. Sen, hi. We have had your connection slightly wobbly here, but do tell us on what is your expectation at these current levels with the wedding season coming in. On what kind of demand are you anticipating at Senco?
So we are very positive about the upcoming season. When we are talking to our customers for the Diwali, Dhanteras, Durga Puja, the customers are extremely positive. The government duty cut that they had done in the month of end of July had a very, very positive impact on the overall jewelry demand. In the month of August, we have seen that the demand for jewelry across all kinds of categories, whether it is wedding jewelry, bigger pieces, statement pieces, necklaces that were in demand by the consumers, or people who are waiting on the sidelines that they can buy something small for their family as the price corrects. So they all try to avail of the opportunity. And in August, not only we must see that it's not only the urban centers that did well, but we were extremely happy and surprised that the tier 2, 3, 4 towns, the rural semi-urban markets also actually did a much better response in terms of the buying trends that we saw. So with now as well, with the festive season coming in, I think consumers are just waiting the gold prices have been, in the last 7 days moved up a little bit because of the international geopolitical conditions or the Fed rate cuts that are supposed to be happening. But I think that consumers' belief and faith on the commodity, on the product, on the category is very much in place.
Absolutely.
And diamond jewelry, as Neerav Bhai was saying, that yes, Q1 we had a little bit of a slowdown in diamond jewelry. People were with the elections and the heat wave and all, there were not much occasions. But now the wedding seasons are in, the love season, anniversary season, all kinds of season are in. And, whether it be small pieces of diamond jewelry, small size diamond, or even pointers and solitaires, I think consumers now know that the prices are a great price to buy. And everyone is showing a lot of interest.
Oh, absolutely. Suvankar, also, how, we were talking to Ajoy a few minutes back, and he said East really seems to be doing very, very well, and that's exactly where you come from. Are you anticipating a higher growth of demand from East vis-a-vis other geographies?
So, see, if I talk about the month of August, as I said before as well, compared to a 7.5% Q1 growth that we've seen till April, May, June, Q2 with July and August, just 2 months, we have seen a very good trend. Our YTD growth by the end of August went up to about close to 15% and above. So you can imagine that July and August post, I would say, monsoon, I feel that the agricultural sector is leading the growth, and the rural and the smaller towns are leading the growth. So that's happening very much in the east, but we mustn't forget that there are floods happening in Tripura, or, in Assam also in certain parts. But yes, as we speak of Bihar, as we speak of Orissa, as we speak of Bengal, Orissa has got a new growth trajectory with the mining sector doing very well. Bihar has a lot of business and industry opportunities coming up. And I think that infrastructure development that is happening in the eastern part of the country is impacting the growth. So we are very optimistic and positive. But yes, East India for us and North India also is gradually picking up, and I'm sure we'll all do well, be it Ajay or us or anyone for that matter.
Oh, absolutely. Mr. Said, we will, of course, talk to you again as we get into that wedding season as well, because that is going to be the most important one to understand on what we do in sense of numbers during Dhanteras, Diwali, and, of course, that wedding season. But thank you so much for joining us. And that clearly is what the Indian top jewelers are doing right now, creating more designs by thousands to ensure to cater to that customer as well who will come out buying during these auspicious moments. But with that, that's a wrap on this edition of Commodity Champions. News continues on the other side. Stay tuned.